This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
Tom, I'm keeping cool in the summertime.
We're in the newish HeadGum offices, and the arms are not the employees' arms, but the
arms
microphone
holding up
arm.
the microphone.
Yeah, I can't get a good position where I can look you in the eye.
Well, we've only been here for 20 minutes checking these microphones.
I need to look you in the eye to tell if you're telling the truth or not.
You don't think I'm staying cool in the summertime?
No, and
look at me, I'm cool as ice.
And I'll tell you another thing, Tim.
I'm a regular Robert Van Winkle over here.
Well, Tim, the polygraph I have over here says another thing.
It's not even hooked up.
It looks like a seismograph. It's going so crazy. It looks like
that's the way my
Mount Vesuvius is going
vitals
off.
normally are. I'm a temperamental man. When I'm at rest, my heart is racing.
150 beats per minute.
It's beating as fast as a hummingbird heart, and it is like 100,000 times as severe.
Well, you have a much bigger heart than a hummingbird.
Yeah, it's true. They say that. The ladies say that.
The ladies say that.
A bigger heart than a hummingbird.
Wow.
Which isn't that big, I guess.
No, not really. Even if they
were
talking,
my body is only about twice the size of a hummingbird. Did everybody know that I'm tiny?
Yeah, I assume everybody knows you record this under a glass that I've put on top of you.
Yeah, a magnifying glass. Oh, I see.
A glass to keep you from, run away like a spider.
Well, then I wouldn't be staying cool.
And to keep the spiders out.
Well, Tom, I do appreciate you protecting me from the spiders.
Good. You're welcome.
I says I'm staying cool in the summertime, Tom.
Do I have a line?
I thought maybe you'd want to follow up. Like maybe how?
How? Harry, we did a whole episode about this last week.
Yeah, I know, but this is a new thing that I tried this week.
Oh, you have a new technique? All
Tom, I froze bananas.
Oh, Tim, this is
and then I put
careful.
them in a food processor and processed them into an ice cream-like custardy texture and put berries in it.
And slathered that all over.
No, I ate it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was great.
They have like a machine that does that.
Yeah, it's called a food processor or a blender.
They have like a banana gurt or something.
You know what? I don't understand these. Well, I do understand them, but I don't understand the people that buy these like very specific use kitchen appliance. Like you can make. Why would you buy a thing like put this on your counter or in your cabinets? If you're like me, you only have 2 cabinets because you live in New York City. Mm-hmm. So
you're saying they should market all
it's just
products to New York City. This
one thing you can make bananas into ice cream, which by the way, like there are 3 other appliances that can do that.
Some people live out on the range. They've got all the room in the world. Some people aren't interested in a food processor. They only care about having a banana treat.
Nothing makes me angrier than people who have a lot of space to store things in a kitchen.
And
you know what?
If they're using it or not using it, or you don't care.
Listen, people, the revolution is coming, and you can't build a fence high enough to protect all your stuff.
So you, as somebody that lives in New York City, is threatening...
I'm not threatening anybody. I'm not
everybody else.
I'm a coward.
I'm going to take your big kitchen.
I know how to multitask with my appliances, but I'm just saying... Oh, I got a thing that can make. You can make an avocado into guacamole. Yeah, there's a million things. All you need is a spoon. You don't need a gadget.
The banana treat machine, it has like a spout for the treat to come out into. You can put like a cone under there or something. You can't do that with a food processor.
You know what? I improvise. I put it into a one of those pastry bags and. It comes out like soft serve. I don't do that. I just scoop it into a bowl. It's fine. I stay cool in the summertime, which is more than most people could say. All right. How are you doing this week, Tom?
I'm good. I have one. I'll talk about how I am in a moment. But I have one of those.
I thought you were gonna say like I'm in a moment.
I'm having a moment.
Yes.
No, I have I used to be a big fan of those dumb kitchen gadgets.
You're a
When we
fan
were
of
roommates,
gadgets,
you
big
know,
and
I used
small,
to
my
buy
friend, yeah.
that stuff all the time.
Remember that time you bought the deep fryer and left it
Yeah,
right
all right.
outside my bedroom door and would cook fish in it all the time?
No, I cooked fish in it once, and then I
Yeah.
was like,
Just
God,
didn't
this
throw
thing
out the oil.
stinks.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta save the oil, Tim. I eventually flush it down the toilet.
You flush a lot of things down the toilet.
Makes everything go away.
I remember you'd often make soup, and you'd always be like, "Oh, leftover soup," and you'd flush it down the toilet. I just feel like
Yeah.
that's a weird thing.
That's better than flushing it down the sink. Different pipes.
Put it in the garbage.
No,
Or, you know what?
I'm not gonna have a big wet garbage.
Maybe eat
Or
maybe
put
eat
that
the
on
soup.
my-
Ever try eating the soup?
I've
Tom?
tried eating the soup. Sometimes it's too much soup. You gotta put some of it in the
No,
toilet.
don't make
and
so
look,
much soup.
nobody's none the wiser.
I saw it happen. I've been holding this secret for a decade. It feels great.
Well, if you had told me when you saw it happen, I could have pretended like, oh, I don't feel so good. Oh, I threw up.
Yeah.
I threw up all this pea soup. But I was gonna say I have a kitchen gadget that I do like. It's one of those like egg boilers.
Egg boiler.
Yeah.
Like a pot of water?
No, not like a pot of water. Not your grandpa's egg boiler, Tim.
My grandpa had the best egg boilers, and it was a pot of water.
No, this thing's
Pots of all different sizes.
it's basically just like a little hot plate, and then it's got like a plastic tray that you put eggs on top of. The eggs are it can't make boiled eggs without eggs.
That's all right. I'll allow it.
And then you put like a very little a bit of water, small amount of water, and then there's like a dome that like seals it, and then it just
Let me ask you this.
steam boils the eggs.
Tom, is this gadget itself shaped like an egg?
No, that would
Oh.
be silly.
Well, that's disappointing. That seems like the
No,
perfect
if it
opportunity
was shaped
to
like
have an
egg, it would be
egg-shaped
too
gadget.
big. No, the shell is see-through, so you can keep an eye on the eggs.
Wait, it's a self-contained thing? You don't have to put it in the microwave or anything?
No, you plug it into you put the water on like the hot plate. You close the top on. Everybody listening knows what I'm talking about right now. They're all screaming at their phone.
It like steams the eggs? Are you making steamed eggs?
You can
Is that why your apartment smells like that?
smells like steamed eggs? No, you can steam.
I never considered what a steamed egg would smell like, but now I'm thinking of your apartment and it's all coming together.
It steams. You can steam an egg so bad that it boils it. Wow. And Tim,
Must
the
be
amount,
tough on the eggs.
the amount, what?
Must be tough on the eggs.
Well, I don't ask the eggs what they. You know what? How the eggs feel about it is not my concern.
I know. It's a sign of the times that you'd say such a thing and be okay with that.
No, so you put like I'm talking like a Dixie cup full of water.
Wow. So you're doing this to conserve water? Is
Yeah,
why you
more
bought
or
this
less.
gadget?
Very little water. And was that your only question?
What do you mean?
Well, you had some kind of a question about
I
it.
asked if it was a freestanding.
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I have other
Oh,
follow-ups.
so you put the water.
How often
in.
do you use it? How many times have you used it?
I've used it dozens of times.
That's not true.
dozens of eggs.
So
Think
one
about
carton
it.
of eggs.
Think about it. It makes sense.
Yeah, it does add up. You know how I could tell you were lying about that?
What?
Because you're like, eggs. What can I say? Dozen.
What? No, I've used it so many times, Tim. It's almost worn out, and it's almost time to get a new one.
Really?
Hopefully, they still make them.
Where'd you buy it?
It was a gift.
From whom?
The Pope.
Wow.
Yeah,
All right.
papal visit gift.
Pope
No, it
steaming
was
eggs so bad that they boil, huh?
it was like a gift from my brother and sister-in-law. But it was like one of those Christmas gifts. Like they had already given me Christmas gifts, and then I feel like it was like a few months later they were like, "Oh, we got you this," and we
No,
forgot
your
about
birthday's
it.
a few months after Christmas.
It
Was
might
it a
have been for
birthday
my
gift?
birthday. I don't know. Everybody was wearing hats, silly hats, and streamers.
Yeah, no, that's a birthday party.
Oh, okay. So they gave me that. Oh, how it works? You don't put it in the microwave. You just plug it into the wall. It's got its own power.
Wow.
Well, it doesn't have its own power. It doesn't generate its own power.
No.
You need to provide your own. But it uses just a standard wall. It's not like a proprietary wall socket or anything.
Well, that's good. So I could use that in my home.
You could if you have
Presumably.
U.S. standard.
I do.
sockets.
Yeah.
Can you get different sockets in a different place? Like what would prevent that?
I think you'd have to redo
Oh,
all
the
the
voltage.
wiring
Yeah.
from the wall.
Yeah, but what if you're like a rich Englishman and you come over the U.S. and you're like, oh, I prefer to use my existing electronics.
Yeah, I want to use those depressing plugs.
They're too much.
They're too big. They're sturdier. I'll give them
a
that.
lot
I'll give them
sturdier,
that.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
they don't bend because like our
Yeah.
plugs bend sometimes.
Yeah. No.
No, these things, I feel like if you like accidentally kicked a wire or something, it'd rip a hole out of your wall before it gave.
Exactly. So,
Um,
and I appreciate that.
I think they're brass. They're all brass.
Everything there is brass.
And the way this machine works, if you could call it such,
A machine?
yeah,
The egg cooker? Yeah, it's definitely a
I
machine.
don't know if it's really a machine.
You know
It
what's a
doesn't have any
machine, Tom? I'm
moving
going to blow your
parts.
mind. A ramp.
Oh yeah,
An
they were
inclined plane.
They were always trying to sell us on that.
Yeah, you know that's a machine.
Shut up! It's not a machine.
Oh, it's like simple machine. Simple,
Yeah,
like,
simple machine for simple mind. That's what I
Exactly.
would say to the teacher.
Yeah, take that, 7th grade science teacher. Idiot.
It's like, you know what? Maybe
You know what my 7th grade science teacher did?
what?
Had illicit dalliances with a student.
Was it you? Is that what you're hinting at?
No, it's some.
Oh,
it was,
okay.
yeah.
Did he use a simple machine?
Presumably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to talk about this anymore, Tom.
I remember when they were like a pulley's a machine. I was like, all right, yeah, I guess. And then when they were like a ramp's a machine, I was like, get the hell out of here.
Okay. So anyway,
my tax dollars are paying for this class.
yeah, come on, man. It's bad enough that you had dalliances with an underage student.
So you plug it in, you press the button, only one button.
Right.
You can't screw it up. And then when it runs out of water, like when all the water has been boiled away, because there is a tiny hole in the dome to let some steam out.
Yeah, the dome hole.
Yeah.
Classic dome hole situation.
When it runs out of water, it does this.
Is that like a buzzer,
Yeah,
or
it's
is
like
that
a
a
buzzer.
natural noise that it makes?
You know, I don't know. I don't even know how it knows to make the noise.
Maybe when the pressure gets too high.
No, it's when the water's gone. It does that. Somehow it can tell there's no more water. Maybe there's a hidden camera somewhere in the machine.
Well, it seems another machine has stumped you, Tom.
If there's a hidden camera, then I'll give it to it. It's a machine. It's a real machine. So yeah, that's how my egg cooker works. It's great. You can make soft-boiled eggs with it too, but come on, I'm not a creep. I make soft-boiled eggs.
Fascinating stuff, Tom.
All right, Tim. Well, during the break here, you and Marika just braided me about this machine more.
Yeah, we had a full like 3-minute conversation about.
Yeah, you
boiling
guys are
these
saying
eggs.
that you know how to boil eggs better, but you don't like eggs, so that's why you don't do it.
I mean, I
Shut
boil eggs. I don't like it, but I do it.
Yeah, when they're about to go
An
bad.
American, goddammit.
Anyway, Tim, what are we talking about this week?
Tom, we are talking about security.
Yeah.
I need security.
What kind of security were we talking about? Because I realized we discussed this topic and we agreed to it, and then we didn't really discuss further.
Yeah. Well, here's what we were talking about.
Security is a lot of things.
Yeah, we were talking about 2 things. You
I
said
was talking about the loving embrace
of
just 2 big arms around you,
yeah,
offering security.
yeah. That's what it is. That's what we're talking about. We're
No.
just gonna embrace each other.
What?
Talk about how safe we felt in each other's arms.
Your arms aren't big enough to make me feel safe.
I'm
That's
sorry,
one of my,
Tom. You know
one of my
what?
biggest complaints about you.
I'm sorry I'm so tiny.
No, what were you gonna say?
You pitched this topic to me today because you said, I wanted to talk about security because the other day I was shredding documents.
Yeah.
That was it. So we're talking about shredding documents, and then we were talking about password managers. So I guess this should be called security or shredding documents and passwords.
I have nothing about password managers in my notes.
Oh, well, I did a deep dive on password
Okay.
managers.
Well, I was thinking more like.
Here's my, I'll save my chunk on password managers for later.
Okay. Well,
the
yeah, we'll
finale.
figure out what the episode's going to be during this part, and then we'll go and record it.
Okay, cool.
Well, do you have a paper shredder?
I did, but I got rid of it. You want to know why? It got paper dust all over.
Paper dust?
Yeah.
How good of a shredder was this?
Not great, I guess.
No, did it shred paper till it became dust?
No, it shred paper into shreds.
Uh-huh.
But then what it would do, it always have this like, you know what I mean?
I don't think that's paper dust.
Something got all
Yeah.
over everything. Whenever I'd move pretty frequently. I'm always on the run.
Yeah, shredding papers and moving.
Yeah. I would always just have dust all over my hands. So I was like, I gotta get rid of this thing. I don't have papers important enough to shred.
See, I think everybody does nowadays. One of my banks, like 2 or 3 of my banks. I have a lot of banks.
Hold on. Why do you have so many banks?
Well, I have identities to keep up.
Okay.
And I keep everything.
Because you're not a man who has a lot of money, but you have a lot of banks.
Yeah.
Okay. A little bit of money, a lot of banks.
Yeah, you keep
The
it
Tom
spread
Reynolds
out.
story, yeah.
That way, in case one of the banks folds.
Oh, smart.
Yeah.
Then
you've got money in the other one.
Yeah, you got
in case,
$50 in the other one.
Yeah, if, like J.P. Morgan Chase folds or Bank of America.
Tom, you joke, but think about it.
Mm-hmm.
One day, Chase
Yeah.
is just going to, or Bank of America or something, they're just going to be like, hey, guess what? We're keeping all
We
this
spent
money.
all that money.
Yeah, we're keeping it. Something went wrong. I don't know. You're never going to get the whole story. But long story short, you're not getting your money back. And the government's going to be like, you
they
should
got
have read the fine.
FDIC.
Yeah, I know. And the FDIC would be like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to pay the bank back that money. It's all gone. Who knows where it went? It's the bankers' houses. We'll give them the money, put it back in the vault, but you can't have it. They need to buy property with that. It's gonna happen, and everybody's just gonna be like, "Well, there's nothing we can do."
No, honestly, I don't think
we're coming for your kitchen gadgets, you fuckers.
Consumer checking accounts. I don't think are a big enough payday for that.
No, they'll.
That's
do,
why
exactly, and that's why they'll get away with it because they'll be
sure.
like, "Why would we go after this? This is the small potatoes."
Yeah, we'd go after these guys, but
Yeah.
meanwhile they're in cahoots with those guys.
Yeah, and then
to get all my money.
18 months later, they'll be sitting at some table in front of senators or something, and some senators will be mean to them for 45 minutes, and they'll be like, "Oh, poor Jamie Dimon, aw," and then everybody will forget and put the money back into Chase.
Who's Jamie Dimon? Is a cartoon character or something? It sounds like
Dustin Diamond's dad, Screech's dad.
he wishes.
Yeah, he does wish.
Jamie Dimon does.
the CEO of J.P. Morgan Chase is thinking if only Screech was my son.
Yeah, he said it to his own sons in fits of rage.
Yeah, he's like, you don't understand. We have similar sounding names.
Yeah. I wish Screech were my son.
No, Tom, nobody wishes Screech was there. Maybe Damien's parents from The Omen.
I think.
Or Rosemary.
I don't
of
think
the baby of the same.
I don't think Mr. Belding would wish it, but I think he would accept it.
Yeah, I mean, it would explain why he kept him around for so long.
Mr. Belding or Screech?
He kept Screech around when the whole new class came in.
Yeah, it would make a lot of sense. He's looking out for his son.
For as many times I've seen every episode of Saved by the Bell, which is dozens. I've seen every episode dozens of times.
As many times
Never
as
seen
I've boiled an egg.
one episode of Saved by the Bell, the new class. I watched it for 4 minutes, and I was like, this is not for me.
So it sounds like you saw one episode.
No, I watched part of one. What, 1/5 of an episode? Less? 1/6
Well,
of
it's
an
not
episode.
on as often.
It was when I was a kid.
Not before it started. Let's just argue about this for an hour.
What were we talking
paper
about?
shredders.
Oh, right.
All right, I have a few things to say about
The banks are going to take all your money at some point. It's started.
The banks send me checks all the time, blank checks, but and you're
Nice.
probably thinking, hey, great.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hey, pass some of those my way. But here's the problem. The blank checks are like not real. I guess they're real, but they're just like loan checks. They send me checks all the time. And they're like, hey, use these checks and pay for your other credit cards. And I'm like, no, I see what you're up to. You just want me to pay you that money instead of other people I owe money to.
Yeah. They don't do that to me.
They don't? I swear to God, I get like 2 or 3 a week. I should look into like how to tell them, please don't send these. Somebody's going to take this out of my mailbox, write it to themselves.
Oh, they don't care.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, oh, sorry, Tom. Oh, yeah, no. Our mistake.
And I'm never going to use one of these checks. It seems like one of these banks is like, hey, trick the other bank. Give them one of these checks.
I do get that a lot where it's like, hey, because I never have credit card debt. I pay my bill every month in full like a good little boy.
Like a Golo boy?
Good little boy.
Oh, all right.
I mumbled it a little
What
bit.
the hell's a Golo boy?
A Golo boy.
Some weird thing.
Go out loud.
Lay
out.
low.
Yeah.
Boy.
And they are always like, oh, well, if you're paying off this, surely you must have debt on another card.
Yeah, it must just be. Yeah,
just
maybe
reminding
that's
you,
what it is.
you can pay off your other debt with this card. And it's like, what makes you think this? American Express.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I always get it from banks, like from cards that I never use, that I just like have had for years that I don't close out. That must be it. That they're like, you're using somebody else's card. Here, use this. So anyway, that's one of the things.
There are companies that are like not associated with you, like that you don't have an account with.
Most companies aren't associated with me.
I don't know.
Tim, I work for very few companies.
But they will send you checks in the mail.
Checks
and be
in
like,
the mail. That's where the saying comes from.
Exactly. And they're like, here's a $2,000 check. And on it, it'll be like, if you deposit this check, we will...
kill you.
No, the opposite.
Give birth to
you. We'll give birth to you. But if you deposit it, they'll be like, okay, this is a loan, and you'll immediately start paying 28% interest. Or some other like loan shark level.
That's a lot. 28%.
Yeah. And they just like they count on a lot of people not reading that tiny print on the check and just being like, $2,000, hell yeah, and
free
depositing
check.
it. And they send them to mostly lower income people in America, and then they like sue you into oblivion when you don't pay it back. And they just like send a bunch of people into bankruptcy, but once in a while it pays off. Tim Geithner's part of it. Anyway, moving on.
So I have to shred those things. I was dumping out my shred stuff the other day. There must be a lot of people like on my floor, like looking to flee town or something. Because somebody else had their shredding dumpings dumped in the
shredding season, baby. It's summertime.
In the recycling. And boy, I got so jealous. I really jealous of their shredder. It looked like it did a much better job than mine.
Let me ask you about your shredder. What do you got? What do you got going there?
Look, man, it's nothing fancy.
Is it a crosscut?
It's a crosscut.
You don't want the penguin putting together, reassembling all your shredders.
Yeah, that's another thing. How often does that happen? Did that only happen like in the 80s when shredders would just, cut things into thin slices?
That's the shredder I had, though.
Really? Just now?
It was slicer.
Oh,
it was slices and dust.
No, the penguin's going to tape those back together again.
I don't think the penguin had like. Here's the thing.
We'll have his minions.
Like I would shred like credit card applications, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and so because I didn't want somebody like filling out a credit card application in my name, but with their address if they pull that out of the thing, right?
Yeah, that's what I shred too.
Name. But
yeah, I'm like never shredding
it's
personal
not worth
documents.
It.
I'm shredding things the bank sends me that I don't want.
Yeah, the credit limit that the banks or the credit cards are offering me isn't worth your time to tape together an
it
application.
If it's free.
Tom, time is money. Don't you
I
know
have
this?
a,
Don't you know this about time? It's money.
Time
is money, Tom.
Life.
Tom, you know what they say? Time is money.
I have a life hack that I use sometimes if like I don't feel like digging the shredder out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take one of those checks. I'll take one of those checks.
This better be funny because you guffawed.
Yeah, well, because this isn't a bit. I do this not all the time, but I do this sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'll take something and I'll rip it in half. And I'll throw half in the garbage and half I'll flush down the toilet.
Again with the toilet.
But then it's like, well, what are the odds somebody's gonna find that half that I flushed down the toilet and the other half I throw out in the regular garbage?
What? You gotta stop flushing all this stuff down the toilet. It's not good for the pipes.
No, I make sure
This is insane. What else do you flush down the toilet, you maniac? Soup and checks.
Checks and soup. That's all.
All right.
And some unmentionables.
Yeah. Lingerie.
Yeah, lingerie. No, I think if like a plumber comes to your house and they snake out some lingerie, they have to call the police.
Oh yeah, yeah, and the police have to
we gotta
check under your floorboards.
Yeah, we got a live one here, boys.
Yeah.
You better get down here. Tape and paper together. I was
Tape of paper together.
I always get too confident with the shredder too. Where I'm like, it says
wind up shredding your hand.
no, just because I have a bandage on my hand, it's nothing to do with it. No, it'll say like five-page shredder, and I'll do that for a while. Then I'm like, come on, man, you can handle 6. It's not that much more. Jam.
Yeah, and then you had to reverse it.
Oh yeah, you have to reverse it. Sometimes you have to like really get in there.
Let me ask you this:
Uh-huh.
Does your shredder have a part for credit card?
Yes. It
Love
doesn't
it.
work that great.
I know
though.
it never works.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's just like a little bit wider part.
And the thing is, I was so fascinated by it, like years ago when I bought my shredder, that I shredded a card that wasn't like shouldn't have been shredded.
A current active card.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
because I was like, I'll just order a new one, right? Because I just wanted to see. I got this shredder.
What do
I
you
was
think
like,
it was
I want to
gonna-
see what this puppy can do.
Yeah, well, let me open this beast up.
Yeah, and guess what? First card got stuck in there. Couldn't send any more cards through, and I had to get a new card.
And a new shredder.
No, I just couldn't use that card part. But like,
Yeah.
you know, it's a
shredder's
standard Visa
overkill.
card.
You can just cut the card in half in the garbage, half down the toilet.
Your cards now, Tom?
No. You can just cut like the strip part out and put that down the toilet.
Okay.
That's nice and skinny.
I put them in
That'll
I melt them in the microwave. Can you do that?
melt a card in the mic. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could. I mean, that's not going to be good for your microwave and like the food you cook after that.
Why?
There's plastic and metal in there.
So what?
So what? You're cooking.
Tom, you eat a lean cuisine every once in a while. That's no secret. Everybody knows. That has
due
a
to my
plastic.
svelte figure.
Yeah. That has a plastic film on
That's
top.
a different type of plastic.
You don't
You're,
know. Like you know, like you're a
well, so are
plastics
you
expert.
cooking the card to the point where it melts?
Yeah.
Well, that's not good. If you cook like a
Just till the
lean
numbers
cuisine in the
melt off.
microwave, you don't cook it until
Tom,
the
I do
plastic
this all
melts.
the time.
Um,
The plastic is part of it. It's like the wrapper on a trident. You can eat it.
So along with what? No, that's not the case either. No, yeah, I mean, sure, I've eaten those, but you shouldn't.
I mean, you can.
You can eat those in lieu of Trident sometimes if you're
Just
in
the
a
wrapper.
yeah,
the
if you're in a
gum
bad
wrapper.
spot.
Yeah.
It's kind of like wax paper.
It's not even wax paper, Tom. It's just paper.
I wanted to talk about along with this security, the topic of
Yeah, you're
the,
making some expert hand motions here.
just for your benefit too.
Yeah.
Well, because so you were thinking internet security when I said security. I was thinking more home security.
Oh. I mean, I was just thinking shredder. And also, we were talking about passwords online today for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I thought we could just read the transcript of our conversation, call it a day.
Sure, if you want to, but I have some things to say
What's
about home
your
security.
What's your Netflix password?
Yeah, right. No way. I'm not telling nobody.
What's your Gmail password?
I don't even know it because I use a password manager.
Me too, Tom. I
Yeah,
got a
no
I
idea.
can't talk about password. My password chunk coming up at the end of this episode, everybody.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
What do you think about? All right. So, is there any like other privacy stuff besides shredding papers that you do at home?
Yeah, when I'm getting changed, I pull the blinds down.
You know what? I don't do that. I think my neighbors see me in the buff.
You have a different situation than I do. I feel like you're not as close.
I'm basically playing the odds that like, yeah, I'm not. It's a pretty wide street between me and across the street.
Exactly.
And my building's a big building. The building across the street's a big building, and like.
Actually, that increases the chance of a perv with a telescope, though.
That's true. But like, I always think like somebody'd really need to be like camping out, like focused on my.
Maybe he knows your routine, or she.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a routine.
Or it might be a dog.
Could be a robot. Could be a security camera.
Like the movie Sliver. Has
Like,
anybody ever seen the movie Sliver?
I've seen the movie Sliver. I can't tell you how many times.
Really?
It's on HBO all the time.
Alec Baldwin?
Alec Baldwin, Sharon Stone. No, not. It was Stephen Baldwin, I believe.
Oh yeah, one of the famous Baldwin brothers.
Yes,
that's a fact.
It
They're
is. Yeah,
famous.
it's true. It's one of the famous Baldwin boys.
Yeah. Long Island boys, made good
through and through from Massachusetts.
Every one of them massively respected.
Yep, and cool.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say about? Did they catch a perv recently? Peeping Tom?
No.
Oh.
No. Just the way that I'm set up,
Mm-hmm.
Tom. It's a narrow street, so I got the people across the street, and then also in my own building, there's like a cutout for the entranceway, so like people like in the next apartment can see into my bedroom window if it's yeah, exactly. And it makes me uncomfortable.
Can see your marital bed.
It's just the same bed I've had for a while.
You can get a new marital bed. You can go down to Sleepy's and say, "Me and my soon-to-be wife here, we're looking for a marital bed."
You know what I'm waiting for? One of those goddamn mattress companies to sponsor this goddamn podcast for once. Literally every other podcast, it's like, oh yeah, one of these jerk companies sent me a free mattress and it's great. Send me a free mattress.
Well, so now
me and my wife have to sleep on a freaking pile of hay.
So now, if you ever do hear a mattress ad from us, you'll know you can trust it.
I'll say great things about them.
Yeah.
About all of our sponsors.
Do you like snap at your wife all the time when she's like, "We should get a new mattress"? You're like, "No, I'm waiting for a podcast mattress."
Snap at her about everything, and she snaps at me. We're like the Lockhorns.
Yeah, always locking horns.
Yeah, but you know what? We love each other. We eat dinner, and I'm like, "What is this, slop?"
You say, "What is this slop?" or "What is this slop?"
Both.
Okay, mix it up.
I go like this.
Keep the marriage fresh.
Go like this. I go like, "What is this, slop? Slop?"
Yeah.
She goes, "Yeah, it's slop." She's usually making slop for sloppy joes.
Slop or gruel. Yeah, so I don't even.
She's just like, "Why are you just watching TV in your underpants?"
Yeah, and you're
like, "Get off my back."
Yeah, hey, I'm paying for your bonbons, ain't I?
Yeah. I do buy her a lot of bonbons. She doesn't even like bonbons. It's another point of contention.
You know, I've never even seen bonbons in the store.
I don't know what bonbons are.
I think they're ice cream, like little ice cream balls. I
They
think
would
they're
melt.
like those. No, you know those like ice cream balls you can get at the
Covered in chocolate?
Yeah, at the movie theater.
Mm.
I think they're those.
Well, that doesn't seem that extravagant when people are like, "Oh, sitting back eating bonbons." It's just some movie theater candy.
No, but it has to be.
Look at this! Look at this queen sitting back on her throne eating Sour Patch Kids and snow caps.
I think it's that they have to be kept within a certain temperature range.
So they're saying it's somebody who likes the cold?
No, it's just like wow, they really have to be careful with those bonbons. Eat them all or put them back in the freezer. Maybe. I think also like back in the 80s, it was like, wow, to have a refrigerated treat is quite a thing indeed, sir.
You just get a block of ice. That's what I do.
So yeah, I don't even like really close my blinds. So I'm not too
Why
worried.
would you? You don't take your air conditioner out of the window in the winter time. You don't do much, do you, Tom? You just boil eggs in your weird machine.
What do you think about these like the doorbells with a secret camera in them?
I don't know about them.
Like Ring. That's
Oh,
one of the things.
Somebody comes to the door.
Yeah, ding dong.
I'm bathing my children. I can't come to the phone right now.
Yeah, that's the commercial that they always show. That the woman's like, "Oh, a strange man came to the door.
Why are you talking like
Came
this
to
today?
the door. I'll tell him
Caveman.
I'm busy bathing my children. It's like, well, that's a very vulnerable position to be in if that's a man who's
Yeah, if he's gonna rob you, if it's gonna be a home
yeah,
invasion,
it'd be
it's
like,
like
oh,
okay,
cool, I'll kick the door in. Then
Yeah,
you're
'cause-
busy. You want to make sure your kids aren't going to drown. I'll just take your TV in the meantime.
exactly. Or if I want to, like, there's no way out. Like, if you're in the corner with your bathtub, it's not like there's a window you can jump out of there.
They should make a new version of that commercial. And when he rings the doorbell, she says, "Oh, I'm practicing jujitsu with my children."
Yeah, we're practicing loading our guns by loading guns.
We're practicing submission holds and neck snaps.
Yeah.
And then he'll be
We're-
like, "Yikes!"
We're
My
setting up paint cans with attached to ropes on the
no,
stairs.
that you don't want to tell him about.
What? Then? Well, I mean, either way, they got to go upstairs if you're upstairs.
Well, I have some stuff to talk about that in a moment.
Home Alone?
No, kind of. But my brother.
I can't come to the door right now. I'm busy setting up something that will electrocute you till we can see your skeleton. And then he'll be like, "Oh, I'm getting out of here."
My brother and sister-in-law have one of those doorbell cameras.
Mm-hmm.
And one day, like, they woke up and
Also, they're not secret. You said they were secret. Isn't
you
it?
don't know about 'em.
Isn't the idea that like somebody knows and they're like, all right, I'm going to be caught on camera at this place, and I might,
Yeah, I
if
think
I
so.
slip and fall,
I mean,
I'll
there's
wind
still,
up on
like-
AFV, and Alfonso Ribeiro will be clowning on me in front of everybody.
That's not what they
The
use
whole
as
nation.
a deterrent.
Should be.
I mean, the thing's not that big. It looks pretty much like a regular doorbell.
Okay.
But anyway, one time, my brother and sister-in-law, they were one of the chairs on their deck was gone in the morning, and then they found it down the street.
Teens.
Uh,
My diagnosis.
No, they were able to
Teens.
go back to the footage, and they saw a man take their
Raccoons?
chair.
Oh.
No, a man. It wasn't a raccoon.
I thought maybe multiple records.
But I wouldn't like I just saw that movie A Quiet Place,
Mm-hmm.
and they've got security cameras all
Starring
over.
Jim from The Office.
Yeah, starring Jim from The Office and Pam from The Office.
Yeah.
Real
Man,
life couple.
I wish it was Pam, right?
Yeah.
It pisses me off that they didn't get together in real life. The hell, guys.
Well, write a letter to NBC.
I did. I wrote many. I showed up there.
I don't like the idea of just seeing a night vision security camera image is scary to me.
Okay.
Right?
No, not really.
if
No,
I'm-
I disagree.
If I'm alone in my house and I heard
I'm
a
never
noise
alone.
outside, what'd you say?
I'm never alone.
And I heard a noise outside.
I've engineered everything, so there's always somebody, a faithful companion by my side.
And I hear a noise outside. I don't want to look at the camera because what if I look at the camera and it's like a mean man going
at least
sharpening
you
his
know.
knife? No, I'd rather not know.
You go get one of your guns.
I don't have any guns.
Mm.
Stop spreading that fallacy. So yeah, that's my position on security cameras. Too scary. I don't want them.
So you don't want it. You'd rather not know.
Rather
Blissful
not
ignorant.
know.
You were saying, oh yeah, who was the guy that stole the chairs?
Just some guy. It was like a young man.
Did they confront him?
No, is it? Do you not understand how a videotape works?
Well, was it a neighborhood man?
They're like the guys that run out of the theater when the train comes into the station. Yeah, well, he's right there. Get him.
Tom, so some guy came into the neighborhood,
Yeah.
moved their chair, and then was just never seen again?
Yeah, I think so.
What the hell? Well, that doesn't make any sense.
He was probably
None of
drunk
this
or
makes
high
any
on
sense.
drugs.
He was probably so. How was he in the area? I know they
What
live
do you
in
mean?
a
How
small.
was he in the area?
What was he doing?
He was walking around.
You don't think he?
They don't keep track of like everybody that lives in the town.
I do. I have a series of video cameras, like in the movie Sliver.
It wasn't anybody that they recognized. If that's what you're getting at.
Well, they should show it to me. I know a lot of people.
All right, I'll let them know. Maybe they'll forward it along to you. See if it's some 20-year-old kid that you know.
Is it a 20-year-old? I mean, you
That's
seem
what
to
it
know a
looks
lot
like.
about this guy.
It
Did
looked
you
like
see
a
the
young-
video?
Yeah, I saw it. I was allowed to view it.
Do they
It
still
was
have
during
it?
the daytime, so I wasn't scared watching it. Do they still have it? I think it's in the cloud.
You don't want security cameras because you're afraid of ghosts.
Oh yeah.
You don't want a ghost popping up.
I
on
don't
that
want
thing.
I don't want proof
or
of
a
ghosts.
specter or a
poltergeist.
Yeah.
You can't really see the poltergeist, but if you see plates flying around,
Or that little boy in a tuxedo from 3 Men and a Baby. He died in that very apartment.
Didn't die.
He did. The man at Golden Video told me.
So you mentioned Home Alone. I wanted to talk about booby traps for a minute since we're talking about home security.
All right.
I
did not know this. That's what this episode would be about. I had a chunk on password managers.
we can talk. You said you were saving it to the end.
Yeah. After
big finish.
After the plugs. You got to sit through the plugs. Spoiler alert, we're doing a London show that should be sold out by now.
Did you know that in the phrase booby trap, booby is like a stand-in for like a adult or a moron?
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's like a moron trap.
So
like
it
a
implies that you'd
boob.
have to be dumb to fall for these things?
It's like a boob trap. Like, look at this boob. I bet he'll fall for this trap.
I did not know that because Indiana Jones, I guess, didn't fall for them.
Yeah.
But his companion was. But his companion was also a real scoundrel, though. Because he tried to steal the thing for himself.
Yeah. A boob.
Yeah.
They're meant for boobs, but they might catch other people in their crosshairs.
All right.
And I was talking about this Ring. There's a few companies
The
that make these.
videotape. The videotape that you can't watch.
No, not
otherwise
the
you'll
Ring.
die unless you make
No,
somebody else watch
the
it.
videotape freaking doorbells.
Right. It's not videotape.
videotape doorbells. Video doorbells.
Right.
And like there's a bunch of startups that make these things. Why isn't there a Silicon Valley startup focusing on booby traps for the home?
Liability issues, maybe?
No, because in a lot of states, like if somebody breaks into your house, Home Alone rules. All bets are off. You can do anything to them you want. Some states, that's not the case. Because you hear the stories every once in a while, like, a robber fell down the stairs and then sued the homeowner.
Yeah,
The
and then
place
every suburban dad gets angry for no reason, even though they don't know where it happened or when it happened, but they read about it on the internet.
Yeah.
And this country's going to hell, goddammit.
But I'm saying, like, liability things aside, like, yeah, why isn't there a company out there like, yeah, we've got these new, Wi-Fi enabled booby traps for your home?
What are you thinking?
Like a Wi-Fi paint can tied to a string.
I mean, it would be
You could put in a accelerometer on there. It'll tell you, like, the force with which it hit a burglar's head.
Yeah, just practically speaking.
Now, keep in mind, I'm talking about booby traps, not man traps.
Okay. But some kids are dumb, right? Kids are often
Well, do you know
boobs.
the difference between a booby trap and a man trap?
What's that?
A man trap is meant to trap a man, but to actually trap him. A booby trap is not necessarily meant to trap somebody.
Meant to kill them.
Kill or hurt or scare or surprise.
Ah. Yeah, I would start a surprise trap, not trap, just a surprise company that'll shoot streamers out or
something.
something.
That's just a novelty company.
Yeah, but like a smart home enabled novelty company. If you could get the Internet of Things involved in planning a surprise party, wouldn't you?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, like, if you can get, if there are two products on the shelf, and one is a can of peanut brittle with snakes in it, and one is a can of peanut brittle with snakes in it, that's an Internet of Things, and, like, it connects to HomeKit, and all that.
Yeah, you can see on your
snake's eye view.
refrigerator if there's snakes in the can.
Yeah, or if you need to get new snakes.
Exactly.
I was reading about.
You can see the tension of the springs when they're coiled, because if you coil them too long, the springs aren't going to be.
Yeah, well,
all that
that's
kind of
why you
stuff.
got to keep people falling for the snakes in a can all the time. Keep the springs fresh.
I do it every day of my life. It's part of the reason why my wife hates me.
I was part of, but not solely.
Yeah.
A lot of it falls on just the what is this slop,
Yeah.
and what is this slop?
And then sometimes it's, what is this slop? Slop?
Researching all this stuff and thinking about a booby trap company. I was researching. This is a guy that there should be a movie about, like a big movie.
It's just Kevin McAllister. They
No.
made 2 movies.
No, let me tell you about this man, Tim. Sorensen Sam quotes Adams.
Joran Vandersloot.
No.
Oh.
Is Danish American. And you know how Danish
So is Joran Vandersloot.
You know how Danish American or how Danish he was? His father made clogs. That's what he did for a living.
No, he didn't invent clogs.
No, but talk about a Danish occupation to have.
I don't know much about the Danes.
They wear wooden shoes.
Clogs?
Clogs, not
Ah.
clods. Not clogs. Not clods, you clod. In 1904, Adams found himself employed as a salesman for a dye company. One of the products he sold caused workers to sneeze, and Sam found a way to extract this derivative from the dye and called this new powder Kachoo. Within a few years, the sneezing powder craze that swept the country has subsided, and Sam set out on innovating new products. So he made the first sneezing powder,
Right.
took the country by storm. But then eventually the country was like, what else you got for us, Sam?
Come on, Sam.
Listen to this murderer's row of products this guy made. The exploding cigarette box. The snake nut can, which we were just discussing.
Yeah.
Itching powder.
That's too far.
The stink bomb.
Gross.
And the dribble glass.
The stink bomb makes a place smell like your apartment after you've used that egg boiler.
Yeah, just use the egg boiler. It's reusable. It's renewable. And the dribble glass all entered the Adams line in the next decade. But you know what he made the prototype for in 1928?
I'm going to guess.
Guess.
Is it a certain device that elicits a Bronx cheer when you sit on it?
No.
Oh.
But there's something to that.
Okay.
This was the Joy Buzzer.
Oh, okay.
Joy
Buzzers, I feel like we got a G-rated version of these things in all our joke boxes.
No.
Whereas in the past, they would fucking do some damage.
No.
Oh.
Popular misconception because of like cartoons.
Yeah.
Um,
And like, I'd say like Three Stooges.
No, I was looking at the original prototype diagram, like the patent for the Joy Buzzer. Identical to a Joy Buzzer you would buy at a reputable store today.
It
Yeah, the
slightly
spring.
vibrates.
Yeah, it's meant to, and like it
It's
does
meant to
feel like
startle
electric.
you?
Yeah, because you're shaking a man's hand, you think a business deal's done, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden you get a little shock.
Ah, the deal is not done.
But he says, "Oh, it's just a
It's time
joke."
for you to be humiliated by my hand.
I'm thinking about becoming a Joy Buzzer guy.
Just always having a joy
Just
buzzer.
always having a Joy Buzzer whenever I meet somebody or see somebody I haven't seen in a long time.
That's why I always do the fist bump.
You're afraid of Joy Buzzers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, I guess somebody would be like, no, I'm not
Not
falling
gonna get
for
me
it.
this time.
You always have it, and I'd be like, I swear to God, I swear, I swear on everything, and then I'll get him again. In 1940, the owner of the Gem Rubber Company of Toronto, Canada, approached Sam with a newly invented item.
What
It
did they
was
make, condoms?
the precursor of what would become the whoopee cushion. Sam said that the item was too vulgar and would never sell.
You know what? Sam can go screw. Oh, you know what? That's the arc, right? That's when, you know, at the end of Boogie Nights, when Burt Reynolds is out of touch and he's like, it's never gonna go to video.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, it'll never sell. People want art.
That's kind of what happened to
this
Sam.
guy Sam is just like, too vulgar. People don't want this, and that was his downfall.
You know what, though? He had a few things after that weren't bad. The bar bugging Ice Cube. So
That's
just
good.
a bug in an ice
You know
cube.
what the thing about that Ice Cube
Are
with,
you
with
going
the
to
bug
quote
in it?
Dr. What's his name from The Simpsons?
No, what?
Remember he tells Homer, like, it actually would have been better to just use a real ice
Oh,
cube.
yeah. Because, not even that. Like, it was dirty. Like, I remember putting it in my parents had a party when I was a kid, and I put it in, and they're just like, not only was this, like, I saw this on the floor earlier, but also, like, the chemicals to make, like, it was 1986.
Yeah.
Like, the chemicals, they made that clear plastics, and I put it in the microwave, and I know you can't put it in.
Well, and they were working off of, like, I doubt they changed the formulation from the 30s or whatever.
Anyway, it's dirty.
He also invented the money maker. You ever see that one?
No,
Where it's like the little rolling thing, and it like plain paper goes
that's
in.
more of a magic trick than
Well,
than
look,
a
Tim, he
prank.
dabbled in all things. The squirting nickel, the jumping coin, and the laughing tissue. I don't know what the laughing tissue
What's
is.
the jumping coin?
I don't know that one either. I know the squirting nickel. I always thought that one was kind of dumb.
Yeah, this guy, because it didn't even, it was just.
It's like, look, if you're
cheap
going to make
plastic.
something squirt, just do the old flour.
Now, how does this relate to security, Tom? What
Well,
was
these
that
are
you,
all-
you just talked for 10 minutes about a guy that did pranks
Yeah.
in the 1930s.
Well, I'm doing my due diligence. I'm trying to do some research into, booby trapping my home. And this guy, he had like,
Well, I don't think the squirting
benevolent-
nickel is gonna do anything. To
well,
keep
what if
you-
it's a
you-
very cowardly robber? And he's
Still.
very easily deterred. He's like, oh, forget it. It's
Well,
too
you
much
could probably
trouble.
just be like, please leave.
What if I'm not there?
The dog would scare him away if he's that cowardly.
Maybe he likes dogs. The dogs like him.
Mm.
I think my dog would be very easy to win over by a crook.
Ooh, she's not very loyal.
No, I
She
think
doesn't like you.
Nah, she's
Is
just
it
a.
because you always call her dinner slop? Ginger, what is this, slop?
No, what do I call her food? Yummies. Say, hey, you want some yummies?
I don't know why, but I wish you didn't tell me that.
What else about booby traps? Oh, locks. What about locking your door, Tim? You ever lock your door?
I lock my door obsessively.
Do you? All right. So,
When I close my door, I immediately lock it.
does it auto lock when you close it?
No, I don't like that feature.
I used to not like that feature, and then I kept leaving my door wide open.
Yeah.
So I have since turned that on. Here's what I do if I need to go out into the hallway for a minute. Open the door, throw the deadbolt, and then when the door bounces off the deadbolt. It can't close on me.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
one's free.
Wow, Tom. What if somebody sneaks by you in that time, though?
Well, I don't do it if it's a situation where I'm worried about somebody sneaking by me.
Well, then.
I do it when I have to like throw garbage down the chute because the toilet's backed up.
All right. Tom,
Uh-huh.
what else about home security or flushing things down the toilet?
Would
What do
you
got?
trust a smart lock?
No, I don't like that stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
Seems like somebody could just put a magnet on it and
Now,
Or
what is that?
let
What
alone
is
if
it?
they
What
were
is
a
a
hacker.
what is a smart lock?
like a lock you can
I
unlock.
know, but explain to our
Like
listeners.
they have these locks you can buy in the store, and instead of using a key, or maybe in addition to a key, you can like use your phone to unlock your door, which is great if like you need to give other people access to your door.
Have you ever needed to give anybody?
Yeah, but I
access
never have
to
to
your
do
door?
that. I mean, but if you have like a Airbnb or if you have like a big family or something, and people are always coming in and out, if you got like a nice house,
Yeah, I'd rather just not have that lifestyle. Right? People coming in and out of your house.
Yeah,
That
that's
sounds
true.
stressful.
Yeah,
I don't like
what-
this.
Yeah, what gives the lock?
Yeah.
You know what I always want?
Big
like,
family. All right.
I
So
always-
either if you don't have a key, then I don't know.
I always like on TV when like people have like big houses and people are always like coming and going. I always think I want that, but I don't want
If
that.
you had a big house, I can see that,
Yeah.
but not if you don't have a big
Yeah,
house.
but if it's so big you can't tell who's coming and who's going.
Whatever. I feel like, are you talking about like the Kardashians? I feel like there's always somebody in like they're not sure who's in one of their 8 living rooms at any time.
Yeah, that wasn't
I've
what
never
I was talking
seen,
about,
like,
but I know what you're
minute
talking
of the
about.
Kardashians, so that might be way off.
No, I think you're right. Like that's always
Yeah.
kind
like
of
Ray J's always in like the vestibule or something.
rifling through the linen closet. Like, are there any clean towels in here? I'm gonna go take a dip in the pool. Yeah. Do you always deadbolt your door? I only deadbolt my door when I'm going to sleep.
Pretty much at night.
Oh, I meant to mention.
And you got the chain in your situation?
I do, but I never put that up.
I use the chain every night.
See, I feel like if they got past the deadbolt, the chain's nothing.
Well, you know what? It
I
couldn't
like
hurt.
It could if you're trying to get out of there real quick. What if they've come in through the window and you got to get out of your apartment?
That's what my arsenal is for.
I'd like to test your. Do you think you could kick down your door?
Nah.
Yeah. Think I could?
My door?
Yeah.
No.
No, you seem very confident.
Yeah.
Only one way to find out.
I don't invite you to try. I mean, if you want to pay for it. I think it would arouse suspicion if you were just there kicking at my door.
I'd only do it once.
One kick?
Yeah.
Hell no, you can't kick my door in.
Well, if I get a running start. You kind of have narrow hallways.
Yeah.
That's how they... Probably for that reason.
Exactly. The way that you're set up.
Yeah. Oh,
there's
an
angle from the.
Yeah, I'm at the end of like a T shape.
Yeah.
So somebody could come like running down a hallway.
Yeah.
Only have to make like a slight angle alteration at the very end.
Yeah, which does. You know what I would probably do is do an elevator situation because then you can do a straight line, like an angle.
No,
like open the door from your elevator.
No, that doesn't work. The elevator is not right across from
Let's let the listeners judge for themselves. What's your address and apartment
No,
number?
I meant to mention, Tim, at the very top of this, people should be aware that, look, I have a lot of enemies. A lot of the information I'm throwing out there is misinformation to give my enemies
which stuff? The stuff about the joy buzzer or the whoopee cushion?
No, that stuff is all true.
Okay.
But I'm saying like the layout, how I lock my doors and everything, I could be bluffing. I could be full of S, telling you all kinds of S. Effing with you.
Were you lying about the egg boiler? That thing doesn't exist.
It does exist.
They do exist.
Booby traps, dogs. We talked about dogs.
What do you mean, like dogs as security?
Yeah, dogs as security.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Why not?
Because that puts the dog at risk.
Well, the dog doesn't know. Well, no, and I'm not saying
I don't care if the dog knows if it's at risk. If somebody's like intent on getting to you, let's say you're fabulously wealthy like I am, a dog, is just becomes an obstacle for them.
Yeah.
And then, all sorts of cruel things can happen to that dog. A dog shouldn't be used as a tool or a deterrent.
That's why you get Dobermans.
Still, somebody has a weapon.
No, I'm not talking about like getting dogs that you like keep chained up outside as like guard dogs. I'm just saying a dog in general. They say that like having a dog is a way better like home invasion deterrent than a gun. Because like most people, if they're like, oh, the house has a dog, that dog will know I don't live there. If he sees me, the jig is up inside the house.
Good that you have both.
Don't have both.
Anyway.
I have one very tiny dog that wouldn't scare anybody.
If you like the
Except
show.
an even smaller dog. Or a small man like yourself who can fit under a cup.
Listen, I can fit under your door, too. Son of a bitch. If you like the show...
Jim, I think that's a threat.
If you like the show, find out more at tcgte.com. You can do the Facebook thing, facebook.com/complete guide.
Twitter.com/complete guide. You can
at complete guide.
if you go to twitter.com/complete guide, you'll find the
Yeah,
same
and they'll be
thing.
like, hey, you can just put at this on the.
What do you mean you can just put at this? No, you
on
can't.
an app.
What?
Who's not using apps these days?
You don't even have to
I
put the app.
I like
put
to
an app
access
in.
Twitter through a web browser, like a maniac.
I think that's how most people access it.
Yeah, maniacs. Every one of you. Follow
Follow
me on Twitter at YourPalTim and Instagram.
You can follow me on those things at Tom Reynolds. And you can support us by checking out tcgt.com/pledge for our weekly Patreon bonus episode and at tcgt.com/Amazon for our Amazon shopping experience.
Tom, are we doing a show in London in September?
We
Yeah.
are on September 15th at tcgt.com/live at 9:30 p.m. London time, Merry Old England time.
You made it sound
Greenwich
like we were
Mean
doing the
Time.
show on the internet. We're doing it at King's Place. That's
We're
part
doing
of the
it at
London
King's
podcast.
Place. You got to buy a ticket. They won't let you in with that one. Their rules, not ours.
tcgte.com/live. But we're bound to uphold those rules, Tom.
Yeah, we've agreed
Yeah.
after a lot of tense negotiation.
Storm the gates. I don't care.
Tim, I think you have a chunk you promised everyone.
Hey, Tom. So I realized I got a lot of websites that I need to,
Is this an ad?
enter passwords on.
Uh-huh.
That's a chunk.
Oh, okay.
This is the chunk of, and so it's like, I'm doing this thing, and I was, the experts.
Do I have to be here for this part?
The
or
experts
can you just
say,
do it?
you need a password manager because you can't use the same password for every site. And if you use kind of some algorithmic thing, people are going to be able to figure that out.
The rhythm's
right?
going to get you.
Oh, God, I'm thrown off. So I got one of these password managers, and they tell you all these fancy passwords you can use at these new
Wait,
sites.
did you just hire a person as a
Nah, I
password?
I went to the wirecutter.com and I followed their instructions.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. I put all my passwords in there. They said, make these stronger. I made them all stronger. And then they're like, guess how you access all these passwords? Think of a password. And I picked a weak password. Now everybody can guess that.
Tim, what the hell? I mean, I know, like, usually by this point in the show, people aren't listening, but
It's you threw me off with. I was.
but
I had
but
this
that was
all
just
worked
like
out.
disrespectful.
I
to
had it
people.
worked out, and then you were just interrupting me. You're
I was trying to save you. I was trying to throw you a lifeline.
I lost my rhythm early on. It was. I was gonna hit that more about like, oh, I don't know, like, but it wouldn't suggest a password for the main. I forget what it's called. The overall password.
Right.
You
The
know what I
master
mean?
password.
Yeah, the master password.
Mhm.
And then it's just like, well, I'm not going to I'll need, you know what? I need a password manager to remember that. And there was a whole chunk about how I would get a second
another
password,
chunk.
a second password manager to remember that password. But then I'd need a password for that one. And where does it end? You understand where I'm going with this?
No, it's better to save it for your half-hour special.
Yeah.
Let people hear it fresh.
This London show, maybe I'll do my full half hour on
Ooh, there you
password
go.
managers.
There's now it'll sell out.
Yeah. I don't like doing this very much, Tom.
All right, we'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.